And I have a question for you before you start asking me the questions.
Of course, the interview queen would do that, right? Like, she's definitely going to turn this around.
I have to.
Okay, welcome back, babyfaces. We're here with the interview queen herself.
Let's get it.
Alicia Atout. And how's it going?
Hey, thank you so much for having me, guys. And I have a question for you before you start asking me the questions.
Of course, the interview queen would do that, right? Like, she's definitely going to turn this around.
I have to. How do you know all of your fans are baby faces out there? Can't there be some heels in the mix? You never know.
That's true.
I don't know. If you start liking somebody, you become a baby face to them, are you not? Right? But that's a very good point.
You can just assume that all of your fans are like super friendly. I like to think the same.
Yeah, that's what we like to think. Not so much on Twitter, right? Like, once you start messing around in social media, the fangs come out.
That's very true.
People can be absolutely brutal sometimes, but you got to look at the nice ones.
Definitely. No.
So let me tell you, Elite Steve right here is a little starstruck, right? Because this is like he's really nervous. He put this together and he's really excited. So
yeah, a lot of technical difficulties getting in the way, but I think I'll be good as we go on with it.
I hope so, man.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah, right.
So you've been around the wrestling world a little bit, but you've been interviewing forever. So you want to like go into like how you got into wrestling specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my website in 2012. In the first couple of years, I was still in school. I wasn't taking it super seriously. It was really just a hobby and a place online for me to interview musicians and just express my love of music. Plus, it was a really cool way to meet all of these musicians without having to pay for meet and greets. And, I was a music fan. And then it got to the point where that music aspect of my site got fairly big. I was getting some decent views on my videos. I had really good contacts. And the idea came around to start interviewing wrestlers because I've been a wrestling fan for a long time. And it's just a whole other market that looked so exciting and fun to be in. So I did my first interview 2 years ago, posted online. I was a little weary because I had no idea if my fans would think, what the hell is this? Like, where's the music stuff? But luckily I posted it. There was no backlash. People were so excited about it. And from there, I just kept with it, really.
Who was your first interview? Who was that first?
Yeah, music or wrestling?
So in music, my first interview ever was a band called Bombay Bicycle Club.
Okay.
They're one of my favorite acts ever, and they just got back together, which makes me so happy. And then on the wrestling side, Ali from Impact was my first wrestling interview.
Oh, really?
How was that?
She was a sweetheart. I'm so happy that my first wrestling interview went so well because I remember I was so nervous, and not because I didn't have interviewing down by then, just because you think it's a new market, it's kind of a different type of interviewing style, it's a venue and promotions I don't know. So yeah, it was just like starting from scratch again, even though I had 4 years under my belt of interviewing. So I'm so happy it went well. She was so sweet and bubbly and friendly and not like the demon dark alley we know today.
Yeah, that might make for a slightly different interview, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
So how is that different? How is the music interview different from like the wrestling interview? You kind of touched on that, but
Yeah, so for some reason, I'm not saying all musicians, but a lot of them, the interviews feel a bit more serious, and you sometimes have to pull for answers a bit more, depending who you have, but it's almost across the board when you sit down with any wrestler. I don't know if that's because they're used to having to be in like gimmick mode or they're just always ready for fun, but there's no pulling teeth. You just sit down, you ask questions, half the time it's off the cuff, you just shoot the breeze, and it not only makes my job easier, but it's so fun. So I enjoy doing both, but since I've been doing so much wrestling stuff as of late, there's just been this excitement around it that I love. I just love speaking with wrestling.
Yeah, what was your favorite interview so far?
Oh, gosh.
on the spot.
Yeah, no, I'm coming with her.
I've done over 1,000 of them for video interviews. So that's really, really hard to choose. But up there would be people like Kenny Omega, The Bucks, Cody Rhodes, Rey Mysterio, Um, Man, this is hard.
There's a lot of there's a lot of AEW right off the top.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I mean,
Immediately.
I'm a huge fan of the Elite, so it's bound to happen. Mick Foley, I always love having on. Let me think. I'm gonna give you some other ones that. Oh, Paige was awesome to have on. That was fun. Tommy Dreamer was cool. Man, yeah. I'll leave it at that. But there's too many to narrow down. There's so many.
Now, you mentioned Kenny Omega. How was it interviewing him right at All In?
Amazing. It was so cool. Before the show happened, I interviewed him for my site. We did a very quick, I think it was like a 5-minute interview about the night, and we talked comic books and some geeky stuff as always. But having that promo backstage that aired live in front of the crowd and then on, wherever other people were streaming it, it was absolutely surreal because not only are you with one of, if not the hottest wrestler on the scene right now, it's just one of my favorites. So that whole experience was just so surreal for me. I'm so grateful for it, and I want to do it all over again.
And you might get the chance. Who knows? Maybe AEW needs
right?
somebody.
Well, you were at All In. Are you going to be at Double or Nothing?
So that stuff that I'm going to be there as far as what I'll be doing, whether it's as a fan or other stuff. That is something I am in the works with. So
Awesome.
Non-disclosure agreement. We can't talk about it. Cool. Well, good luck with that. I hope that works out. And Double or Nothing's shaping up to be a really, really interesting event. You going back to your interviewing and how you interview wrestlers, what do you prefer? Do you prefer that a wrestler be in character and completely all gimmicked out, or do you want like a more real side to who you're interviewing?
that's so tricky. I've done so many alternates of both. I have those sit down ones where it gets so serious and you really get to know the person and it's just intriguing. And then I've had the ones where you have to act and be scared or freaked out by someone's actions. And those are just a whole other level of weirdness and fun. And the fans love the ones that are in character. So once again, you guys are making me choose. And I feel like I'm choosing between like these
We
huge
gotta
things.
know.
Well, don't feel
Sorry,
like you. No, go ahead.
I'd probably have to choose the real ones because I find a lot of the time with the real ones, people kind of go in and out of character because a lot of the time their characters or their gimmicks are just themselves but completely overdone. So, yeah, I'd probably say the normal ones because it has a little hint of the gimmick in there usually.
Yeah, I've noticed that most of the characters out there are just themselves turned up to 12, and it's pretty interesting to see, actually, because when they're in their setting with their friends and everything, it's weird to see the toned down version of that.
It's funny. I find when they're like with their friends on camera, they get even more hyped. It's so funny when I do group interviews. It's like the dudes are just ready to be even crazier and more funny, and I love group ones.
So, you said you started watching wrestling at a young age. Who was your biggest inspiration, or maybe one of your biggest inspirations? That way, you don't have to choose anyone in particular. But who were one of like those people that like really early on kind of struck a chord with you?
Foley, for sure. I remember Hell in a Cell and just being so captivated by it, thinking, what is this man doing? And then I forever won't forget the tooth in the nose. Like it's just it's so iconic and weird and disgusting. And it was so full circle for me meeting him, working with him, interviewing him so many times, just thinking like, whoa, you were that dude on TV 21 years ago that I watched when I was like 3 or 4 who just made me fall in love with this stuff. And I remember watching that match with my dad because he was the one who loved wrestling in the house the most and would watch it with me. But man, that match was just insane. And I know it's such a classic and like it's cliche to almost say is a favorite, but that was one of the first things I remember when it comes to wrestling.
Oh, of course. I mean, we've talked about that match a million times. That Hell in a Cell is the most iconic match of all times, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd have to say so too.
Yeah, for me, it was The Rock hitting Mick Foley with the chair.
Like 1,000 times.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous.
As far as like iconic Foley matches or just stuff that you really think about when you think of wrestling memories?
Pretty much whenever I think of like my first wrestling memories, it's one of those.
Oh wow, that's
Like,
awesome.
yeah. Um,
Them cutting back to the image of like his wife and kids like crying is
yeah.
just so like embedded in my mind when I think of that moment. It's crazy.
I think I was crying.
You're like, no, hey, that man's got a family. But cool, because like Mick Foley for us has definitely been one of those guys. I mean, Stone Cold has been one of those guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. You've worked in a ton of different promotions for different in different capacities. So, what has been your favorite role? And I won't make you pick one, but what has been one of the more interesting places you have worked in? And like, if you got a little story or something to spice it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So I've been able to
Ooh,
work with
this is gonna be good. You heard her? She's like, "Oh, we're going on a journey." All right, I'm excited. Go ahead. You got my full attention.
There's so many spots to choose from. It's like I could give a story for each.
We'll talk about all of them. We got all night.
My favorite, just because of the history that's now been made of it, the people, just the pure excitement for me personally as a fan. Like my favorite to work for was All In, but I've hosted and done backstage interviews, ring announced, done live in ring segments, a combination of those for so many promotions, whether it's Impact, Beyond Wrestling on Powerbomb, Blackcraft, Destiny Wrestling, Rise Wrestling, Northeast Wrestling. Like it's been really cool to go to all of these different states and then also provinces and cities in Canada and be able to hone my craft, learn new things, and also just do what I know I'm like good at. So my favorite part is probably the backstage interviewing because I'm an interviewer and doing those promo ones, it's half acting, half just being myself. So those are always my favorite and most comfortable. I've recently started ring announcing, which is so much fun and the feedback's been great. So I want to keep doing that. But it's just so many promotions, so many different places. It's
Is there
go ahead.
Is there a part of you that wants to like be in the ring? Like in the ring?
I
Do
was
you
just
want to
about
be a
to ask that,
performer?
yeah.
Hell no.
I think we can agree with that too because we went to wrestling training down at the Monster Factory not too long
Okay.
ago, and that was pretty rough.
Yeah,
even watching people run the ropes and then afterwards they have bruises on their backs. It's like something so simple. If you haven't done it before, it's your first time doing it, or you do it wrong, or you're too heavy. It's just like not heavy in general, just like on your feet and stuff.
right.
Mm-hmm.
It's brutal. I don't want why would I do that to myself? I don't have any aspirations to wrestle. I'm cool with talking to them and keep it at that.
Definitely.
But if they asked you to take a bump, you'd be on board?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, right?
That's different. I have some very competent people in my life who are wrestlers who could teach me how to take a bump or two, and I'd be cool with that. Yeah.
In terms of the interview stuff, who gave you the best piece of advice while you were learning?
Oh, that's good.
One thing I love how you guys are impressed with each other's questions. That made me so happy. Gene once told me, just keep being you, kid, because I had this conversation with him just about how I was starting and I just started doing stuff with Impact and I had all these things on the horizon. And I remember him telling me that. He's like, you know what? Just keep doing you. You've got something. And as simple as that advice is, it's such good advice because if you're doing stuff and you notice that it's working, of course, don't become complacent. Always try to be better, but keep on that path.
So we got to know you a little bit. Do you speak any other languages?
Nope.
Nope.
I know how to swear in Arabic a little bit, but otherwise,
nice.
yeah, I don't speak any other languages. It's weird because I took French in school for like 4 or 6 years, but I think it was through it's grade 6, 7, 8, and 9. But I didn't retain any of it. Like I hated it. So English, yay.
I saw that you went to the Netherlands. Was that recently or was that a while back already?
Yeah, that was about a month ago.
Nice. So how was it? How was your experience out there and where else would you want to travel?
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. A music festival called ESNS sent me out there, Eurosonic
Ooh,
Noodle Slang, and
ooh.
it's this festival that showcases tons of European acts. So they put me up there for about 6 days. I got to not only explore this incredible little city village area, but just go to so many concerts, interview bands, and explore a ton. I've never been to Europe, and it's been a goal and dream of mine since I was even before I had my site, since I was a kid. I've wanted to go across the pond, and I finally did thanks to my job. So that was amazing. But other spots I would really like to go. I want to go to Australia, Hawaii, England. I don't know. I want to go everywhere.
Everywhere, everywhere. Just start knocking off places from the list. Just run through the whole world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, what? So you've been to, like I said, like a bunch of different places. What has been your favorite atmosphere? I think I would probably say All In for you. I don't know if that's true or not, but All In was just so hot. The crowd was so hot. The night was just so popping. For you, what was that the greatest experience in terms of like just the one night, the hottest venue you were in?
It would definitely be that. I mean, it was just huge. It was over 11,000 people, and I was backstage with all my heroes. Like it was just it doesn't get any better than that. But I feel like I'm just gonna constantly talk about All In. So another place I love, another place I absolutely love is anytime I get to go to Beyond Wrestling because I'll do live streaming stuff for Powerbomb, or they're now independent um, wrestling TV. But anytime I get to go to Beyond, the atmosphere is crazy. Fans are nuts there, but still respectful. And they have this really cool, like top tier indie talent that perform and wrestle for their promotion. So it's always a riot there. I got to spend New Year's Eve at Beyond, ringing in 2019, and it was like one of the most memorable experiences I've had in wrestling. It was awesome.
Oh, that sounds so dope.
Yeah, going from that, what was the weirdest thing a fan has ever said or like been a part of that you've seen?
I always find it strange when fans like bring me photos that we took together and then ask me to sign it. Not because it's like a super weird thing, but just to know that they care that much that they not only just want to take a photo, but they'll literally take their digital camera or their phone, print that photo, bring it with, like travel from where they're coming from, and then ask me to sign it. Like that's so cool. So that's one thing. Or when fans cry, that that's happened a few times, and that always completely shocks me because I'm like, I'm just me. Like you guys can tell from listening to me now, like I'm just shooting the breeze, and I don't know. I like
Yeah.
to think I'm normal. Like
No, no, Alicia, you're a total snob, and this has been completely rehearsed and scripted.
so when people come up to me and they're like, they tell me how my interviews have changed the profession they want or have inspired them to do stuff. It's surreal, and for them to get that emotional, because I used to be that way with fans all the time when I'd meet them. I just cry after the fact, but it means that I mean something to them, and that's really special and sweet.
Yeah, I can see that because fans have a tendency to kind of do some weird things. Recently, there's been like a slew of just fans like showing up to airports. They've got like a system set up
Seth
to like
Rollins
catch
actually went off
wrestlers.
about
Yeah,
that
yeah. Seth
recently.
Rollins was
Yeah.
talking about it recently. So it was just a topical kind of weird situation that I was just like that's odd. And then you being a female, I'm sure has the potential to be a little weirder because I think fans are more passionate towards female stars, and you're kind of a star in a sense, right? You're kind of a celebrity here.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely strange sometimes, and a little uncomfortable. It's like sometimes dudes are just stoked to meet you because they love your interviews and they're like, you really make me feel like I'm closer to my favorite wrestlers, which is sweet. But sometimes it's just like they go in for like the awkward hug at the end, or they linger around and just stare, and I'm like, this is just kind of weird. But I see them do it to guys too. So, and
So
some
with
females have done the same thing. So, it is what it is.
so with that being said, right? What's your biggest pet peeve? Not just with fans, just in general, like your biggest pet peeve. Like if we want to piss off Alicia, what do we got to do?
Um, Loud chewers.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
that really bothers me.
okay, oh, I am gonna sound horrible. Everyone's gonna be like, she's just not gonna like me. Loud chewers, slow walkers, when people
Oh,
are people are late to stuff.
Oh god. Oh
Don't
god,
cover
that
their
was us.
mouths when they cough.
You heard that, right? People are late. Like she's definitely
Oh
like,
no, you guys
yeah,
had a
yeah.
reason.
I see how it is, Alicia. You see, like we're trying to be friends here.
I'm literally I'm being honest. But no, you guys had a reason. It was the weather. It wasn't like you were late. You even you texted me like 5 minutes before or 10 minutes before. Okay, we're ready. So that wasn't like that's different. Oh, when people leave their dogs poop on like the sidewalk, uh,
I've been
asshole. I hate
I've been
that.
a victim to that before, stepping right in dog crap, and it is the worst experience ever.
You get that like slip, that little half
Yeah.
slip. You're like, oh, what is that? You know what it is.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, to bring a bag with you. Like I have one now, but I had two dogs, and it's like you just pick it up. It's not hard.
It's really not. I had 5 at one point, and when I had to walk them, it's not hard at all to bring a
You have
bag with.
5 dogs?
Yeah, yeah, it
Oh,
got pretty intense.
that's
El-
insane.
Elite Kennel Steve.
Yeah, pretty much.
You had the kennel of the century. So you said you have no interest in like being an in-ring talent, but you've got a pretty impressive wrestling acumen in terms of like where you've been and what you've done. So I think you could probably, if you had to, put together a really interesting character. Who would your character be if you were an in-ring talent? If you had all the creative freedom in the world, if you had the opportunity to create your character, what would that look like?
All right, so excuse me. The thing is, it's like I'm not opposed to being in ring. It's just I wouldn't want to wrestle. Like I could see myself being a really good manager for somebody, or like I wouldn't want to be a valet, but I would be such a good valet if I had to be one. But my whole thing would be I'd still be an interviewer, and I'd be that interviewer that you all know backstage, the promo girl, and somehow I get dragged into a match or I stand by someone's side. And my whole thing is I use the dirt. Like I do research on the person I'm managing's opponent, and they have all this dirt that they can just yell to the crowd and whisper in the guy's ear and just completely throw him off his game. And it's like it would be a beautiful thing. It'd be a mind trickery type thing. That way I don't get hurt. I just have to take a bump or two. But you'd like really mind screw the other guy. I think that would be great.
Yeah, I think you'd be a really good promo. Like, I think you could cut a really good promo if you had
It's
to.
so much fun.
At Double or Nothing, Alicia comes out.
Just get in the
What's your
middle
theme
of the
music?
ring.
Well, what do you come out to? What's your theme music? You got to have something.
Yeah, something by Kiss.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's not what I thought. So, all right, let's talk
What did
about
you think I'd say?
I actually have no idea what I thought. Just Kiss was not.
Kiss or Steel Panther.
Or what?
Or Steel
Oh,
Panther.
Steel Panther. Wow.
Oh. So
pretty good.
this brings us to another interesting. So, what is your musical taste? Like, what do you like in music?
I'm all over the place because I was raised on so much. So I literally one day listened to Motown, then Philly Soul, then some new wave, then some 70s, then like disco, and then Britpop from like the early 2000s, and then I really love old school rap. So I am everywhere pretty much.
That's fair. I mean, you have a music blog, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
You got anything?
Me? Speaking of Kiss, are you gonna be seeing them at all?
So some cool stuff's in the works. Their tour throughout North America, it was just expensive and sold out so quickly. But I
Yeah.
had this company reach out to me, and Kiss is going to be playing at a festival they're hosting, and like I've firmed stuff up with them. I just haven't announced anything yet. But this summer, somewhere in the world, I am going to be seeing Kiss, and it's a dream come true. I haven't seen them, and I've been a fan for so long, so it's going to be incredible.
That's always the best feeling. Being in love with a band and then finally seeing them after so long. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, did you guys see that video of Paul Stanley playing guitar and his hair got caught on fire the other day?
No,
No,
I
I
did
have
not.
Oh
You've
my
got
God.
to, but so they're in the middle of playing a song, and I genuinely can't remember which track it was. I was just so like I was just staring at his hair. So he's riffing along, and then their pyro goes off, and all you see is his black hair just catches on fire, and you can see it kind of getting like strawy. You know how it's like dry.
Oh,
no.
And you can see it getting like then they have a guitarist who's not in Kiss, but he's like playing with them, and he pats his hair down, but it doesn't go down, and he continues playing. And then finally, all these guys come on stage and pat it down. Not once does Stanley look behind him. It was just like what a rock star. It was crazy.
He's like, fuck it. This is how I want to go. In flames on stage.
Like, there's no way you don't feel that. There's no way.
And now I have to find it. Now I've got to find that clip.
I've got to see this.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So, all right. So before we go, we wanted to hit you off with like a little lightning round, just as quick as you can. The first thing that comes to your head.
Look at these, but these are fun.
All right. So here we go. You ready?
Kind of.
All right. What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
What's your favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No.
What? I knew that was gonna get you. What's your favorite Halloween costume?
Wonder Woman.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What sports do you enjoy watching non-wrestling related?
None of them.
None of them.
Ouch.
Yeah, they're all scripted anyway. What's your favorite song? Your favorite song of all time?
That's tough.
Oh, I don't. No way. I can barely choose out of
really tough.
You gotta choose one.
thousands of songs.
But one song.
I
Right now, you had a shitty day today. You go home. You go on your Spotify. You click a song. What's that song? That first song.
I don't even know that, man. That's
Dude, your
tough.
set is great, but I don't have an answer.
All right, at least a genre. What's your that genre that kind of lifts you up?
New wave. I can just like get in the groove and it's funky.
Cool. What's your favorite food?
Poutine or steak and potatoes.
Ew, poutine.
What? What are you talking about, man?
Yuck.
You?
Crazy.
Yeah, nah. We call them disco fries in Jersey, but then they have.
It's different.
No, it's completely different.
It is different because it's got the cheese curds.
Yeah, I had it.
No, all right. I'm gonna lose this argument amongst the two of you.
Absolutely.
What's your biggest or weirdest fear?
Dying alone.
Oh wow. What would be your superpower?
Teleportation.
Teleportation. And what's the most useless talent you have?
Useless talent I have? Like a half-ass whistle.
Oh, we gotta hear it.
Nope. So sorry for everyone listening. That must have like pierced my eardrum.
We'll edit that out. We're gonna make it sound really, really powerful. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be like SpongeBob's horn.
They're gonna be like, why are they laughing? That wasn't so bad.
Yeah, that was really impressive. No, we got you. And then I guess the last one. What's the weirdest question you've ever been asked?
Have I ever had my toe sucked?
Wow.
There's a lot of weird fans there, and I get that question like once a week when I do Instagram Q&As.
You get that once a week?
That's a lot.
Okay. Not
What?
joking. Yeah.
That's a lot. Well, I'm sorry that has happened to you. Do you have any questions for us?
All right. As interviewers, we always want that one guest to be on our show, like our heroes or the people we admire. But is there anyone you would just not want to interview, like someone you just despise and like you couldn't be in the same room with, whether they're a celebrity or someone in wrestling where like you've heard rumors about them and you're just like, no, like I can't be in the same room with this dude. Someone you'd want to super kick.
Somebody I want to super kick. So
Probably
just
Vic, right?
based off of what I've heard backstage and like his Twitter, Sabu just sounds like he comes off like such an a-hole. And I don't know if I can tolerate that throughout a whole interview. I don't know. I've gotten like these bad vibes.
All right.
What about you, Steve?
I have no idea. Maybe
Alicia? Yo, she's right here. You don't say that.
what? I said nothing of the sorts. I think one of my favorites while I was getting back into wrestling was CM Punk, but he seems to not be the most friendliest anymore. So I think that might be him.
Really? That's interesting because you were a big fan.
Yeah, I was actually CM Punk for Halloween.
Yeah, I remember that. That's your favorite Halloween costume.
Oh man.
Do you have a picture of that? We got to put that up on
Oh
IG.
Christ.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll put it up.
Yes. Yes.
We'll
You
put it
drew
up.
the Pepsi logo on your arm.
Yeah, but we don't have a picture of that.
Oh, we
That's a
don't.
lot.
Ah, damn. I remember that. Cool.
Um,
You got anything else for us?
I have a question.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever have an emo phase? Because you're big into music and you like Kiss, and that's how I got into music, and I went through a pretty rough emo phase, and I'm curious.
Like a Jimmy Havoc phase?
Yeah, almost, yeah. If I was a
Well,
wrestler, that's who I'd be.
full on. I was really into The Used and Taking Back Sunday
Oh,
and
man.
Dashboard Confessional, Thursday. Like all those bands were one of the soundtracks to my teenage years, when I was a teenager. And yeah, I had the Paramore Hayley Williams like swoop hair. I never dyed it, but I had the swoop hair and like the weird layers and like some smaller like short hair sticking out the back of my head. Like I wore gray skinny jeans, which I don't understand why.
I
But
had green skinny jeans. It's all good.
yeah, so I definitely have a phase for probably like 2 years. I still feel like I'm an emo kid at heart, but I just don't have that appearance anymore.
You never lose
But
it.
no, you don't.
No, not at
That
all.
music gets you through the hardest time of your life if you listen to it in school, which I did. So it it'll always stick with me. I love those bands. I've interviewed I think all majority of the bands I listed, and emo forever.
100%.
Yeah, I feel like when you attach yourself to a song, a genre, it kind of like makes an imprint on you that like never goes away. You
Well,
know what I mean?
especially at that age, like that's
Yeah,
that's the like it's iconic for me. The whole emo movement back then.
right.
It's something that'll never leave me.
So, oh, Alicia, thank you so much. You've been awesome, absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
Curious, are you gonna be around for WrestleMania?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to be in New York for Mania weekend. I'm going to be working for WrestleCon for 2 days. I'm going to be signing for them, hosting for them. It's going to be knuck and futz. I'm so excited. And then I also have a couple other shows I'm making appearances at. So yeah, it's going to be incredible. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be at WrestleMania yet, just because of how insane things are. But you never know. You seriously never know.
Well, if you're gonna make it, we're gonna have a tailgate. We're gonna be there from 12 p.m. all the way up to pre-show. We're gonna have drinks. We're gonna set up a live show. There's gonna be prizes and all sorts of stuff. So if you'd like to come through, follow us on Twitter. And
Oh, she did.
oh, okay, cool. And we'll be updating everybody as soon as we get the details of like where we're gonna be and everything. But you're absolutely invited. We'd love to have you.
Thank you. I am following you guys for sure. I know I am.
And just because you brought up WrestleMania, what do you think about Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Ronda Rousey, and how this is all developing?
So I think ever since the man persona came about, Becky's just been crazy, and I love that side of her. But then ever since we saw Charlotte, I think 2 months ago with the kendo stick, she's now psychotic too. So I think either of them facing Ronda is going to be a good match regardless. I know some people were like, no, Charlotte. I'm like, I think it would be cool because I think Charlotte's a badass wrestler. So no matter what, I kind of want either Becky or Charlotte to take Ronda down. So my money's on either of them. I think it'd be cool to see Becky Ronda just because of the build up and everything, but who knows? And this whole Vince angle, like they're genius at getting fans pissed off. It's so great. It's so cool to watch the interaction and people just being annoyed. So yeah, it's exciting. It's gonna be good no matter what.
Yeah, definitely lit the Twitter world on fire. That's for sure.
Definitely.
All right, Alicia, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on and answering our questions and engaging in our bullshit. We really appreciate it. You're always welcome back.
Yeah, we hope to have you back.
Whenever
Thank you
you'd
so
like.
much. And thank you for your time, wanting to speak with me in general. It means a lot. So I had fun, and I hope everyone listening right now enjoyed us shooting the breeze.
Hey, shooting the breeze. We're gonna have to change the name of the segment. It was called Shooting the Ish, but Shooting the Breeze with Alicia Atout. I'll take that. All right. Well, from HPC Heels, Pops, and Chair Shots, I'd like to thank you for coming on and thank everybody for listening. Have a good night.